There's a surprise. Civil servants have negotiated themselves a cosy deal in which they can work from home forever. Take a look at this Mail story. Hundreds of civil servants will never have to return to the office after being allowed to work from home permanently. Official figures show that the number of government employees on special home working contracts has almost tripled since the pandemic. Mark my words, that will be the tip of the iceberg. Our efforts to once again become the lazy man of Europe appear well underway. Of course, there are plenty of jobs that can be done from home, and I don't begrudge anyone with families or a pet from being able to take their kids to school or take Fido on his 2 or 3 walks a day. Plus, the savings from our disastrously expensive transport network will be particularly welcome during this cost of living crisis. A bit of working from home will now be with us forever, and it's not all bad. Perhaps in some cases, it's 1 day at home and 4 in the office, maybe. But please understand, as with so many changes to our society that resulted from COVID measures, there will be a price to pay if we desert the traditional workplace altogether. Our work-from-home economy might be more convenient, but it will make us poorer. With everyone sat there in the living room on their laptops, the nexus of businesses that support office workers, cafes, pubs, shops, and contractors that service offices like electricians, plumbers, window cleaners, and the guy that comes to fix the photocopier will all be sacrificed at the altar of home working. Speaking to the Telegraph newspaper earlier this year, James Dyson said work from home will impact productivity, creativity, and it will cost the economy at least £15 billion a year. James Dyson, this famous vacuum cleaner inventor, says work from home sucks. Its defenders are pumping out hot air. Soon, the economy will be left for dust. Frankly, I'm speechless and bagless too. I'll hoover up that mess later. The biggest fans of work from home are the so-called laptop classes. Well-heeled North London types with vast oak kitchen tables and spare rooms which nicely double up as an office. Many of them can even pop out onto the patio and enjoy the expanse of their well-manicured gardens as they type up the latest company report. But millions have no such luxury. Those smug, finger-wagging hypocrites were the biggest cheerleaders for lockdowns because it just didn't hurt them. In fact, it helped them. They saved money, they spent time with their families, they enjoyed their pleasant homes and paid down their credit cards by skipping their annual trip to the south of France. And of course, they were able to bake banana bread, watch Loose Women, and crack open a bottle of Pinot Grigio at 5 p.m. as they perused their last emails of the day. It's all right for some, isn't it? But for millions of others, none of that is the case. Young people in flat shares fighting for space on one rickety table in the living room. A single mum trying to do a Zoom call with screaming kids in the background. And work from home will be a disaster for the many people living in low-quality housing this winter as they shiver in poorly insulated accommodation that they cannot afford to heat. When was the last time anyone froze to death in an office or thought twice about switching on the kettle for the fear of the cost? This fate beckons for many in the months to come. A work-from-home economy is inevitably less creative. A bunch of faces on a screen is not nearly as collaborative as a round-table discussion in the office or a chat over a coffee at Costa or Pret, or indeed a quick pint with colleagues after work. And there's no way that workers are as accountable online. The boss needs to see what people are doing, read the body language, and crack the whip where necessary. We all know people, don't we, who are very good at disguising how little work they do, even at the office. They pop their jacket on the back of the chair and you don't see them for hours. All of those people have won the bloody lottery with home working. Work from home is a big problem in terms of career progression as well, because you won't be able to catch the boss's eye in the office. It's a disaster for apprenticeships, interns and new recruits who will have no practical way of getting to know the team or learn how the business works or what's required of them. And there's a wider issue about the long-term mental health implications of being stuck at home 24/7. When does work start? When does it end? And whilst the experiment of work from home was a temporary success in the course of the pandemic, and the ability to work from home has saved the economy a lot of potential damage thanks to laptops, iPads and smartphones, do you really want to spend the rest of your life staring into a screen? Is that what living really is? Does anything beat the positive mindset of getting up in the morning, throwing on some smart clobber, slapping on a bit of makeup, jumping in the car, on a bike, on a train or on a bus, and getting out there to earn your daily corn and take over the world? Getting into the office, greeting the security guard, Brian, asking him how the family are and whether his wife's hysterectomy was all she hoped it would be. If you play your cards right, he'll probably show you a picture of her scars on his phone. What about those wonderful spontaneous chats in the work kitchen, comparing notes on last night's Love Island, Question Time or Corrie? What about the whip round for Debbie's birthday or Ray's retirement? And what about the office romance? Those stolen glances with Paul in sales or Sandra in accounts. She's a sort. Is that Sandra? There's more to life than the grey dystopia of work from home. We're pack animals and social creatures. We're supposed to be together. Work from home is now so commonplace, it's been abbreviated to WFH. Well, I say WTF. Work from home if you want to, but understand it will lead to a poorer, sadder, and more isolated society, and a less productive, collaborative and creative economy. You might have noticed that we're in a colossal economic shitstorm at the moment, as outlined last night in my big opinion monologue, which has gone viral. It's clearly touched a nerve. So with that in mind, I would humbly suggest we do everything we can to help the economy, not hinder it. And that would start with a nationwide campaign to get people back to their desks. Your country needs you, folks, and your office needs you too. Because right now, Britain isn't working.